Okay, navigating the far north. What I'm assuming here is you're starting in Auckland, probably at the airport, and you're going to go to Pahia, however you say that, New Zealand, Paihia, New Zealand, and drop your rental car, then get on the tour bus. Again, if you look through and look at the 90-mile beach and where I threaten you about how dangerous it is to drive yourself personally, remember no rental company will cover you on 90 Mile Beach. You're absolutely on your own, so you've got big risks. All right. So from the tour company in Pahila, you'll go to 90 Mile Beach, and then that will take you up, and you'll be able to see the sand dunes, and you'll also be able to go to Cape Reinga. Round trip's probably about 10 hours, something like that. They feed you lunch, and they have commentary. It's a nice little trip. So then you'll be coming back to Pahia, and there are a lot of hotels there. I'd suggest a reservation, no kidding. From there, you're going to set out the next day in your rental car, and you can drive to the Bay of Islands, which is shown as E, and then you can go on up to Waipoua Forest, all the way up north. Then you'll backtrack and come on back down and go back to Auckland. So that would be a really long day. You might want to break that into 2 separate days and take a look at it. I'm not completely sure that all of these are worth it. That is the Waipoua Forest, but that's all up to you. You can look at my short video that describes it. 90 Mile Beach. It's a wonderful stretch of ocean. It's really more like 55, 60 miles than 90, but we all exaggerate in life. It's a beautiful drive, and it's well worth it. Now, words of caution. I assume you're probably a visitor to New Zealand if you're watching this, and therefore you're maybe in a rental car. To my knowledge, all rental car companies in New Zealand have a clause in their contract that if you go up 90 Mile Beach, it's all on you, and it's a dangerous drive. You could easily get stuck in the sand, or you could sink into a sinkhole, and there's no towing facilities. All risk is yours. I would not do it if you're in a rental car. If you have your own 4x4, then maybe you want to take the chance. I don't know. Maybe that's why you bought the 4x4. I think a far safer option is taking one of the tour buses, because they'll run you up there to the dunes and you'll have a great time. And they'll also give you some running commentary as you go along. So it's really fun. If you do drive yourself and you think about stopping, be aware that there's a lot of riptides out there, so it's dangerous to drive. In my opinion, it's just not worth the risk. There's many different oceans, and all through New Zealand, different beaches you can go to, which are far safer than this one. So just be aware of that. Now, when you get up there, you'll get up to the dunes, and you can have a great time in the dunes. You can watch my little video on the dunes. So that's 90 Mile Beach. What I want you to take from this is to exert caution. Cape Reinga in the far north. Now, I know I'm probably screwing up the pronunciation here, but Cape Reinga is where we're stopping at. The only thing there is really a lighthouse, and the lighthouse is pretty cool. And what you do is you park in this parking lot, and there's nothing there, by the way. Make sure you get gas before you go up to Cape Reinga. And there's nothing there but the parking lot, and then you walk on down to stand at the ocean. There's an ancient tree which has some spiritual connection to the Maori religion, which I'm not really familiar with. But you stand and you look at 2 oceans, the Tasman Sea, or the Tasmanian Sea, if that's how you pronounce it, and the Pacific Ocean, and they come together. And apparently they don't like each other, because there's this, it seems like clashing there. It's almost like 2 street gangs meeting, and just boom, boom, boom. Now you wonder why that is, because after all, they're both just saltwater, and yet they come together and they clash. Like I said, street gangs. Now, the upside of watching this street fight is, unlike watching real street gangs, you won't catch a stray bullet watching it. Well worth the visit. Te Paki sand dunes. And again, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it. The Te Paki sand dunes are a wonder to behold. They're like 500 feet high, and they're well worth just looking at. Now, you can also do a terrific activity, which is what most people go to them for, which is boogie boarding all the way down the dunes. They rent these boogie boards for like $10 or $15 New Zealand. By the way, New Zealand dollars aren't real money. That is, until you get home and you find out that your credit card changed those New Zealand dollars into the currency where you live. There are credit cards that won't do that. That is, they're going to charge you, but they're not going to charge you a transaction fee for foreign transactions. I have one, and it's what I use. I'm not going to tell you which one it is because I'm not going to do an advertisement for them. Back to the dunes. So when you're going to the dunes, you have to cross a creek. It's not much of a creek. Depends on whether the tide's high or low, but it's fun to splash around in it. Now here's a warning, something I'm sure you don't know. Sand is actually alive, and sand does not like people. Who can blame it? I mean, we're always stepping on it, laying on it, sleeping on it, doing unmentionable things on it, so of course it doesn't like us. And because it's alive, it wants vengeance. So if you get wet crossing that creek, splashing around, having a good time, and then you go up to the top of the sand dunes and come zipping down and get sand all over you, you're going to look like a sugar cookie. Most of it you'll be able to brush off, but some of it's going to start working its way into the worst possible places, and then it starts to bite. I swear it does. And you start to turn red. You're used to the beach maybe, where they have these little showers. You can just shower off and get rid of the sand. No such thing here. You're going to have to live with that biting sand getting its revenge all the way home. But I digress. When you rent your board and you go up to the top, remember it's about 500 feet, 160 meters, something like that. And it's soft. You're going to step in and you're going to sink 4, 5, 6 inches. It feels like a foot. Wampa, wampa, 1 foot after the other till you get all the way to the top. Your calf muscles may be burning by now. Maybe not. Doesn't matter because the ride is worth it. Make sure you wear sunglasses. Otherwise, that sand that doesn't like you, it's going to sandblast your eyes. And on the way down, if you want to go, woohoo, that's cool. Everybody does it. Again, that sand's going to get in your mouth. And lunch won't taste near as good. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Overall, it's a wonderful experience. It's really quite beautiful. And surfing down it, if you're in shape, is worth the trip. The Waipoua Forest. Well, the Waipoua Forest is just as you think, a forest. It has 2 main trees, which in English is the Lord of the Forest and the Father of the Forest. It is quite awe-inspiring. The trees are really huge, and there's boardwalks that you stay on, and you walk through this forest and enjoy the tranquility. Now, the downside is you have to stay on the boardwalks because there's a disease that's attacking the forest. And there's also stations along the way where you have to stop and scrub your feet because trying to prevent this disease from wiping out the forest. The real downside of it is there's a real long drive through winding roads and rainforests, and it's really kind of out of the way. But if you like to see forests with these ancient trees, then this is worthwhile. Whether it's worth the drive, I don't know. The Waitangi, again, pronunciation, treaty grounds. Okay, this is usually considered New Zealand's most important historic site. Now, if you're visiting New Zealand to see just the visual sites, you may not want to stop here. But if you want to get a good sense of the history, then it's worth the stop. It's really a world-class museums. I think there's actually 2 museums there now. I'm sure there is. And the museums have all kinds of demonstrations in them, and it's appropriate for all ages. Word of caution, though, it's expensive, as I think it's like $60 or New Zealand dollars to visit it per adult. And it also takes a long time, so you'll be there for hours. Now, a big word of caution is that the cruise ships stop and unload there. So, it can be just mobbed. You might want to see if you can figure out if there's a cruise ship coming in, though I don't really know how you would do that, so that you'll know whether or not you want to stop and see this thing. Altogether, like I said, it'll take you 3 or 4 hours if you want to see all the exhibits. Another thing, you have to go outside and walk in the weather, and the weather in northern New Zealand can be different, so you've got to be prepared for that going inside and outside. Overall, the historical visit is worth it if you're into history. If you're just there to see the beautiful sites in New Zealand with the geography and the ocean and all, then maybe you'll skip this one.